anyway, I'm super excited today to introduce Randy Byrd.
Let's go!
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, love. Love it. Thank you. Wow. How we doing? So it is an absolute pleasure to get to open up day 2. You know, it's all about setting the tone for the day and the energy. And what we did today, what I love what they did is creating this environment for you to learn more production tactics, more production tools. You know, we're a company of growth, but now people need it more than ever. They need production. And so when they asked me to really kick off the day, I thought, you know, what's the best thing that I could do to bring value to this crowd today? What can I do to inspire you, to bring hope, to bring vision of how to do more production in this world? Because that's really what we need to do right now. We need to lean into our people to help them with production. And when we do that, I looked at this and I said, you know, is it listings? It's easy to say yes to that. Is it, how do we get listings? What's the tactics of that? And I've got a list of that stuff. And when I finally looked at this of how I think I can impact this crowd the most today, it was in a place of mindset. It was in a place of overcoming the fear of call reluctance, because I think that's everything. I think that's everything. And I'm going to take you through a little journey today of some ways that we can break through call reluctance. And this expands over multiple areas of your business. This could be in production. This could be in attraction. This could even be your limiting beliefs holding you back to what's capable. I know I've suffered and struggled with those. And I'm going to take you through my story today. Some amazing speakers yesterday. I love David Becca Gary Brecka. And, you know, what he was saying made so much sense to me because it started filling in the gaps of what I felt over the years of tough times and how we can struggle with this emotionally, right? Because this is an emotional game. This is not really a tactic and a tool that you need to do to overcome production issues or build your business. It really gets into what it is that holds us back. And at dinner last night, I was telling a couple guys at the table, I said, hey, I'm teaching tomorrow on mastering the emotions of prospecting. And they were like, yes, that's what I need. That's what I've been looking for. And so I think this is going to have value for you today. So let's get started. Call reluctance is really everything it sounds like, right? It's just the reluctance to reach out to people. It will keep you busy in work and finding excuses to avoid making your calls. Anybody feel that way? It's like, I got great intentions. I'm going to do this. I'm in the back jumping around, getting ready for the thing. And now I'm like, holy crap, I'm tired. I thought I'd come out here out of breath already. We golfed 36 holes the other day, and I think I got heat exhaustion. I've been dying ever since. I've been cramping, and poor Kirsty's taking care of me like a little baby. But it's a real emotion. When you have that call reluctance, when you have that fear, it's a real emotion. It's a real turning in your stomach. Your palms get sweaty. You start sweating. Your heart races. And what I'm going to take you through today is this journey of why. In my opinion, why. And my story is it's a troubling one. I'm going to have trouble getting through it, I guarantee you. I took it out of the damn thing. I was like, I'm not going to tell that. But I think you need to know the journey along the way to understand why I'm worthy of being here helping you through this. Because this is the thing to me. This is the thing. All right? So, with no further ado, did you bring tissues? Man, what a great day yesterday. And we had so many just empowering stories. I wept at least twice, maybe more, not going to admit to more. But it was the stories that resonated with me. So I think it's only fair to explain my story. And I apologize in advance. Not all of it's bad. Actually, it's good when I look at it in hindsight. But to shorten this up, born and raised in East LA, Compton, Southgate, Norwalk, rough areas. Didn't know any better. Thought I was the cat's meow. My mom died when I was 7, so my dad raised me and my brother alone. Really, I raised my little brother. I was 7 when mom died. Brother was 4, Ronnie. And so I didn't know any better. I was big brother. And so we were inseparable, right? And so through this journey of LA, I didn't know any better, but I got into gangs, I was a fighter, I fought, Brent and I were talking one time, he goes, how many times you been in a fight? And I go, dude, literally too many times to count. He's like, 10, 20? And we were just having this casual conversation. I go, dude, it's literally, I don't know. It's 50, 100, I don't know the number, but it was a survival. It wasn't, I was never a bully. I was bullied, right? And so going through that journey, I just didn't know any better. My dad took me out of East LA at 16, kicking and screaming, never drove a car. I was right at that age. Moved me to Northern California in the middle of nowhere. And, again, first day of school, suspended for fighting. Big secret, right? Went back 3 days later after suspension, made it to fourth period, suspended for fighting. So now I've been in a total of 5 periods of class in a week. And next year he moves me to a new school, start the cycle all over again. I'm not asking for pity, it's my story. So I went in the Coast Guard at 19, and it changed my life. The military changed my life without exception. And so through that, I became a man. I had a massive amount of self-confidence, massive amount. I was like in the Bering Sea in the deadliest catch grounds on the ships and boarding officer and the whole deal. I never missed any kind of feeling of not worth or anything. And through this process, got married. Life was good. Life was amazing. I was on top of the world. I was the president of this, president of that, chair of this, chair of that. The resume looked amazing. And then one of my best friends committed suicide. Jim Gelati was the head of Gelati Construction, California. And he was like my mentor, my idol. This guy had it all. Millions of dollars. They had a statement one time they could line up tractors and excavators end to end and go from one end of California to the other. They were that big. And he killed himself over infidelity and something that happened with the government inquiry. Nothing in my world. And I couldn't understand that, but it didn't rock me to my core. I didn't understand that. I never understood how somebody could commit suicide. There's so many options, right? And then a few years later, I'm condensed this story. A few years later, my brother committed suicide. That changed my world. That my little brother, Ronnie, took his own life over nothing, over just a lack of hope, in my opinion. It's just a lack of hope and a lack of, what else is there in life? And so that I never recovered from that. I really didn't. And so where I used to jump for the stage, I now like hiding in the back of the rooms. I still suffer from that. But I've been acknowledging it. Now I know. And then a couple years later, unfortunately, my ex-wife of 23 years, we were divorced at the time, took her life. And that's my boys' mom. And I remember getting the call, and I got the call from her then boyfriend, and he said, "You're off the hook." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're off the hook. Melody finally took her life." And I go, what are you talking about, hook? How is that a hook? I got boys, And that's just the kind of pain that I had to deal with. But it made me stronger throughout. So what we're going to do today, now I got the story out of the way and you understand the context of what I've had to overcome to build this organization, to take that call from Brent. I was talking to Rob this morning. I said, "Hey man, you're the first guy that I had a call with." Brent insisted on it. He was laying in bed with Kathy, but just the same, I was on the phone with an hour and a half with Rob, and I'm like, "Who is this guy talking about the Navy forever? What is this company, right?" And then I said yes, about 45 minutes into that call. So what I want to do today is I want you to understand the context of that story and that journey so I could walk you through what's going to help you move the needle, all right? So believe in yourself, number one. Believe in yourself, number one. Let's get tactical here. All right. Now it's time to get shit going on. All right. The first reason is fear of rejection. Period, end of story, in my opinion. This is my story, right? Fear of rejection. If you have fear of rejection, you're going to have problems getting through to people. It's because you're attached to the outcome. If you're attached to the outcome, then it's not going to work out for you. You've got to detach from the outcome of that and know that it's just helping them. So the second reason, fear of failure. Fear of failure is a massive one, right? I have failed, and because of that, I have a massive fear of failure. I live in a lack mentality first, and then I have to fix it, right? Coach Bill Pipes, my coach for years. Stuff we worked on because I have to get out of that mindset. And he knows me intimately. I don't know if he's in the room. I love Bill Pipes. But this piece is so big for you. If you have a fear of failure, you're going to hold back and you're not going to live all out. I'm all about living all out now, and if I fail, I fail. The biggest part of this is read the last sentence. More importantly, our harshest critics may be the ones that love us the most. Might be mom and dad, might be somebody you really care about, might be a spouse. For me, it's my father. Love my dad. He's 83 now. Reminds me of Papa Gove. My dad is like my soul, especially after my brother passed. Him and I have been completely inseparable. We talk often, every day. But my dad is a consistent critic and just a negative behavior mentally, right? So for instance, EXP, I said, EXP, this is the best thing I've ever been in, Dad. This is amazing. He knows nothing about it. And he goes, I heard at the golf course that stock's not going to work out, literally. And I go, it's up 73% this year. He goes, yeah, that makes it even. Whoa, be careful, son. And this goes on and on and on. And I literally, Kirsty knows this. I had to talk with my dad. I said, Dad, time out. You cannot watch CNN and tell me what's going on. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I love you, but don't bring that negative stuff to me. And so he knows that's the story now. We're not going to do that, right? And he catches himself. He goes, did you hear? Oh, wait, it's negative. I can't do that. It's true. So I love my dad for that. The third reason, fear of being a bother. A lot of us feel like we're bothering somebody. We're calling somebody that wants something, but it's because of us, right? And I'm going to walk you through this journey of how we can change this mindset. It's really important for you. Here's the reason, right? We're getting bombarded with stuff nowadays. Anybody agree? You get millions of texts and millions of phone calls. We've surrounded ourselves in a moat. We've got caller ID, call blocking, mailboxes out in the woods. We've got barbed wire around our front doors, no soliciting. This is the world we live in now. And when we're trying to be that person, we feel that way because we know what it feels like to ourselves. We have to get rid of that mental block. Harvard College professor once said that young people have to feel they belong more than anything else. Matter of fact, they did a study, and Facebook, conceived and given birth at Harvard, tapped into the deepest of the human needs is to belong. That is what we all want as humans, is to belong in some level. And I loved what Gary was talking about yesterday because this is the connection in the brain that makes us feel that way. So, selling versus contributing. This is, I think, where the rubber hits the road. If I ask you right now, I'm not going to, but I've asked you to pull out your phone and call like your most scariest big fish, your scariest person that you can call. What's the emotion going on for you right now? Oh, it's not a good time. I wonder if he's up, right? Shout out some things that goes through your mind right now. If I tell you to call the scariest person in your phone or the person you have been reluctant to call, what comes up? They won't listen. Ignore you. Judge you, right? All these things are outside sources that are affecting you that really don't have any real effect on you. Would you agree? So, this is because you're entering fight or flight. Our brains are 200,000 years old. We have nothing going on here except save us, right? Fight or fight. When somebody scares you and you take off running first, and then you go, what exactly was I running from? You're just, we're good, nothing to see here. That's because it's a 200,000-year-old primal instinct that you're fighting against. It's dilation of pupils, dry mouth, all these things that can go on for you in that moment, right? So then when we go to call somebody, these things start coming up. Your palms get a little sweaty when you get to make your calls in the morning. Then you get past that first call and you feel amazing, right? But we've got to find a way to overcome that. So what if you were contributing? What about if you were helping? Maybe not even getting paid. This is a contribution, right? Brent is one of my brothers. He is one of the most giving guys I know, and I'm going to be a better human because of watching what he does for people that can never pay it back or don't even know where it's coming from. But when you're in a place of contribution, it's different. Would you agree? So what about if you were in a place of contribution on these calls rather than in a place of mental, I'm bothering them? All these other emotions that come up for you, right? This is something huge that I work with in my coaching clients. It's almost always in that sphere of a problem, right? They've got massive success in real estate. I got a guy that showed up yesterday that had 1,000 transactions that we worked with. They're massively successful in this area. You change the script just 5 degrees and they're afraid to make a call. And I'm talking about him right now. I'm not. But this is what's going on, right? Because you're not comfortable now. You don't know the script. You don't know the language. You don't know anything about that. So I'm asking you to mentally get in a place right now that you're calling somebody to contribute. And what does that look like? What are you contributing, right? Well, I think EXP is a massive contribution if you frame it in your mind correctly. So let's do this. Let's do a little sample. Who would be willing to call somebody and give them $10,000 cash? A lot of that's it? You guys still breakfast? So you could call your best friend and go, hey dude, I don't know why, but I'm gonna give you 10 grand. All you gotta do is jump on a quick call with me. That's it. And they're gonna have some reluctance. They're gonna not think it's real. They do the call and then you Venmo them 10 grand. Your belief goes up, their belief goes up, correct? So now it's real. It's like, holy shit, sorry, Brent. That really happened. There's a jar over there, I trust you. So that emotion changes, right? So now what about if I said, what's your first name? Stephen, you have until midnight to give away as much money as you can. There's unlimited sources. How many people are you going to call? Right? And when are you going to get off the phone? 11:59 at night. How many of you are prospecting till 11:59 at night? Are you? It's real, right? $10,000, would you do it? Would it change your perspective? You make the call right now? Don't tell anybody it's fake money. It looks good. It looks just like it's from China. They don't even care, man. So understand, please, that nothing has changed in the dialogue. The only thing that has changed is your mental understanding of what you're doing. Instead of asking for something, you're giving something. This is what's going to help you rewire your brain. I had to rewire mine because I was not good enough. I was fear of losing people in my life. I was fear of running friends off. Right? I have a friend that is struggling with alcoholism right now. And I went all church on him, man. I went way out of church. And by the way, when I lost my brother and then my ex-wife, I left Christ. I couldn't do it. I left. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that was real. And by the grace of God, Brent and Kathy brought me back, baptized me in Maui last year. And I've been on that spiritual journey, but they really put it together. I trusted them, I loved them, and I gave my heart and my soul to the Lord. And it rewired me again, because now I have no fear. There's nobody out there that's gonna hurt me. Nobody out there is gonna disappoint me. It's all on me, right? So now, let's talk about change, right? How do we do these things to put change into your life? That you could take this little TED Talk today and go, that makes sense, because motivation's amazing, but it leaves typically once your flight lands at home. Inspiration and hope and belief will live here and carry you on through those times. I believe that. So, breaking the cycle and moving into action is the important part. So I'm going to give you 6 simple steps today that are going to help you. These slides will be up later. You don't have to take pictures if you don't want. I'm going to kind of go through them. But number 1, be prepared. One of the main reasons we don't prepare, make your list the night before, at least before you make your calls. Know what you're doing, know who you're calling, be prepared for this. It's really, really important. In my coaching, I've identified some of these traits on the screen as the things, right? I'm giving you all this for free. Reframe your mindset. Instead of thinking about the call as potential rejection or intrusion, think of it as an opportunity to connect, contribute, share, help them. You're helping them. I don't know how many people in my organization now thank me, like on their knees thank me for why I convinced them to be here. There's some sitting in the front row. It took me 2.5 years to convince effectively to come to this beautiful company. Now they're here and they love it. Practice makes perfect. The more calls you make, the better you get. I do live dials with people on the phone. You think I did that for them? I did that for me. I did that to hold me accountable to that. I was like, hey man, can you all come on and listen to me make live dials? Matthew Stewart over there. Can you come help me? And they get on the call and I'm like, I got to do this now. Right? They're staring at me on Zoom. Give yourself a high level accountability to do that. I didn't do all that. Okay, here we go. Somebody else hitting a button? There we go. Focus on the value you offer. Believe in it. Like really, really believe in the offer. And if you don't, really get to a point where you can. Sync accountability and support. Find a coach, accountability partner, or mentor. It's super important. You absolutely need this. And then use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some of you may have heard it, but I did it this morning. Getting out of bed was a little rough this morning. Didn't feel that good when I went to bed last night. Laid there and I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, out. It works, trust me. Bring it into your system. Matter of fact, don't stand up yet, but when I count down, I want everybody in the room to set your stuff down, prepare for this, and stand up for me, right? If I would have asked you to stand up, half the room would have, half the room would not have, half of them's looking at their coffee still, half of them's over on their phone. But we're gonna be purposeful about this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right? You could do that to change your game. And remember, it's not about eliminating fear entirely. It's fighting evolution. You're fighting all the fear. Ring, ring, your dreams are calling. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.